Hello everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Crack Grade B.
Hello everyone, very good morning.
Just wait for a second. Yeah, no more echo. So let's start with our scheme. Yesterday we were doing the scheme on Govardhan, right? And we have to understand a large funding concept on it. So let's start with it. So what I wanted to tell you is that in case of Govardhan, if you are installing a commercial CBG, that means a biogas plant on a commercial level, then there is a twist in case of your funding. You are not provided a direct funding under this particular scheme, but you can opt for alternative sources of funding under different schemes of the government. So let's see them. See, so if you are opting for large CBG plants, that is compressed biogas plants, large CBG plants, that means commercial level. If you are going commercial with this, then you have to set up these through self-financing. But government is providing support for this under various levels. What are those various levels? We are going to see that. So first of all, there is commercial loans, right? So loans to entrepreneurs who are setting commercial biogas plants, they have been included under the priority sector lending. So we all know 40% of your NDTL, the banks have to provide in form of priority sector lending. So in that, you will be provided funding. SBI and Bank of Baroda, they have introduced loan products for CBG plants under, this is a scheme of sustainable alternatives towards affordable transportation of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So under this particular scheme, we are supporting alternative renewable sources of production, like your biogas is one of them. So you will be provided loan under this particular scheme if you want to establish a compressed biogas plant. Next is waste to energy program of Ministry of New and Renewable Resources. So central finance assistance of 4 crore per 4800 kg CBG generation will be provided per day, maximum 10 crores a project. So if your capacity is up to this, then 400 crores, otherwise 10 crores will be provided under waste to energy program of Ministry of New and Renewable Sources. So what I am telling you over here is, please pay attention. I am telling you that if you want to establish a commercial biogas plant, right, so you will have to self-finance it, but you will not get any support under Govardhan scheme. But still there are different schemes of government, under government schemes, where you can take benefit of funding. Next is Agricultural Infrastructure Fund of Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. So this particular fund of agricultural infrastructure, it provides financial support for investment in viable projects. So all loans under this financing facility will have an interest subvention of 3% per annum up to the limit of loan of rupees 2 crore. So what do they mean? Your loan amount should not go beyond 2 crore. If your loan amount is up to 2 crore, we are going to provide you 3% interest subvention. That means if your interest is 7% per annum for the loan, you have to effectively pay just 4%. 3% benefit, 3% subsidy will be provided by the government to you. This subvention will be available for a maximum period of 7 years under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Next is your Swachh Bharat Kosh. So for disbursement of fund under it, the operational guidelines will be followed. CSR source. And lastly, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas provides support for CBG projects under Satat in form of assured offtake. Assured offtake means whatever biogas you are producing, we will be a customer for it. That means government will be a customer for it, and it will be providing you such support at the rate 46 rupees per kg plus applicable taxes. Next is your AtalBhujal Yojana. So this particular Yojana has been launched with the support of World Bank in India. So half of the funding requirement will be provided by World Bank in form of loan, right? And half of the funding requirement will be provided by central. Next thing is we are focusing on specific areas which are water stressed. Water stress means groundwater has gone so below that that is not longer viable in order to get it from the bowels and other schemes. So in totality, what we want to say over here is all those areas. There are 7 states in the northern as well as the north. What you can say, the if the southern part of India, the northernmost areas have been picked up. Basically, North India as well as Central India. These are the two components that have been taken up. 7 states have been taken up under this particular scheme. And what we want to do, we want to intensify water recharge activities, water saving activities in order to build up the groundwater aquifers. So this is the intention of this particular scheme. A very small scheme but very important. So let's just see this particular scheme called as AtalBhujal Yojana. So Prime Minister launched this particular scheme on the birth anniversary of our former Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Duration is for 5 years, that is from 2021 to 2024-25. Central sector scheme. That means there will be no component or the funding that is going to be provided by the state. Entire funding is by the center. Outlay is of 6,000 crore. 3,000 crore will be provided by the center and 3,000 crore will be provided by the as a World Bank loan. So 50% shall be in form of World Bank loan and it will be repaid by the central government. Remaining 50% shall be through central assistance through regular budgetary support. It's a super easy scheme. Nothing much is there in order to understand. Just some factual data, program exclusions, and you'll be good to go. So this and the entire World Bank component and central assistance shall be passed on to the states in form of grants. Obviously, there is no funding by the state government. The whole program is being funded by the central government as well as in form of World Bank loan. So if I talk effectively, the whole program is being funded by central government only because this is a central sector scheme. Now how this funding will be used as? So 3,000 crores that are Government of India component and 3,000 crore that is World Bank component. Now out of this 3,000 crore which belong to Government of India, we are going to use it 1,400 crores for institutional strengthening and capacity building and 1,600 crores for incentive components. Now what is this incentive components? So we will see 5 indicators. 5 indicators means if you have achieved progress on these 5 indicators, just like how our report cards were having 5 subjects and we had to score marks in all those 5 subjects, right? So there are such 5 indicators. You can understand them in terms of subjects and we have to score marks on those indicators. Once we have scored the marks on these indicators, the incentives will be provided on that. So for 1,600 crores will be used as for incentive component. For what performance incentives will be given, this will be followed, right? And World Bank, 3,000 crores of World Bank, that will be used as incentive component only, right? Moving ahead, what is the aim? So aim is very clear. We want to improve groundwater management through community participation in the priority areas of 7 districts. Now see very clearly, all these areas are water stressed. Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Out of it, I'll not say that Uttar Pradesh is that much water stressed because we all know that it is a plain area and in Uttar Pradesh there are so many rivers which are flowing. But let me tell you, there are areas in Uttar Pradesh as well like Bundelkhand region, right? So there are some water stressed pockets. So whenever I am taking the name of one state, I do not mean that the entire state is water stressed, but there are areas which are really water stressed in those particular areas, and that's what this scheme does. So we have identified priority areas in these 7 states. For example, in Maharashtra, your Vidarbha region. So Vidarbha region, that means the northern Maharashtra, that is severely water stressed, correct? So hence these particular areas have been identified. What are the benefits? Nearly 8,350 gram panchayats have been identified in these states. Disbursement linked indicators. Now coming to the incentives that will be provided, on what performance incentives will be provided. See, number one, public disclosure of groundwater data and information. What is the quantity of groundwater available to you, right? You have to tell to the public. What is the quantum of average use, how the groundwater has reduced from year to year comparison, that also you can provide. So groundwater related data, if you are disclosing this to the public, we appreciate it, and this is the number one indicator of your performance. Moving ahead, preparation of community led water security plans. How you are going to save water, how you are going to stop the overuse of water, that is all the things that will be taken under community water security plans. Public financing of approved water security plans through convergence of the ongoing schemes. Next is adoption of practices for efficient water use, like your grey water treatment plans, right? You are having a mechanism for it. You are creating the awareness among the common rural citizens that how we should reduce the use of water, how we can reuse the water that we have got once already used, and obviously the focus should also be on recycling. So efficient water use always rests on 3 pillars: reduce, reuse, as well as recycle. Next is, if you have done all of these 4, the result of all these 4 will be the 5th one, that improvement in the rate of decline of groundwater levels. If it has happened, then on the basis of this, you will be provided with incentives. Now these are the result indicators linked to the disbursement of funds by the World Bank under this particular scheme. Now what are the components? We have seen 2 components. Government of India is going to spend 1400 crores for institutional strengthening and the capacity building. What is institutional strengthening and capacity building? That means for strengthening the institutional arrangements for sustainable groundwater management, like monitoring networks, establishing this, capacity building, strengthening of water use associations. So capacity building, the major word this means, it's first of all you are installing the technology that reducing the use of water. Then you are training and making aware the villagers that how they should be using water in a proper way. Finally, you have got your human resource support, that means the engineers as well as the hydrologists that are going to tell you that how much water has been left and what are the result indicators, whether there are any improvements or not. So all these monitoring etc. related segments, they come under your institutional capacity building. Next is your incentive component. So for incentives, the states for achieving an improved groundwater management practices, data dissemination, preparation of water security plans, all these things if you will do, we will give you the incentives. Government will give you incentives. Government is going to give you 1600 crores and in form of bank loan, that is World Bank loan, that is also you are going to receive in form of grant, that is the 3000 crore. Now next important thing is, what are the program exclusions? So these 2 things will not be covered under AtalBhujal Yojana. What are these 3 things are? First of all, major dams construction and new large scale irrigation system. We are not focusing on this. We are not. We just want to focus on how to reduce or how to improve the groundwater level in our these water stressed area. We are not focusing on dams as well as new irrigation projects. Industrial waterways collection, treatment and using it for recharging, that is also not our what you can say connection, that we are not focusing on industrial wastewater, not right now in our focus. What we focus on, residential wastewater, right, treatment of it, reducing it as well as recycling it, but we are not focusing on the commercial level, no. Now talking about the institutional mechanism, every scheme has a institutional arrangement, right? We all know there are 4 levels of it: national, state, district as well as gram panchayat level, that is the ground level. And we have to see what are the agencies, organizations that have been installed in all these 4 steps of governance. See, so national level, at national level, we have got Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Regeneration, a National Interdepartmental Steering Committee with the Secretary of Department of Water Resources as a chairman. It would be the apex body that is responsible for the overall management. Next is National Program Management Unit. At the national level, this is the implementing agency. Then your third party verification agencies, it will your Department of Water Resources, they are going to hire suitable government agencies to verify that whether the targets have been achieved or not, because on the basis of achievement of target we are going to provide the incentives. Hence appointing the third party verification agency becomes a must. Next is state program management units for implementing this particular scheme, and district program management units at district level for implementing the scheme. And at the last year we have Gram Panchayat. So Gram Panchayat has got a key role in implementation of AtalBhujal Yojana. It is being the last year of administration, and they do the administration through water management committees or the village pani samitis that we have already studied. So village pani samitis come handy at it, and this is the last year of management. So this was your AtalBhujal Yojana, a very simple sweet scheme, right? The focus is completely on groundwater recharge. We want to improve the falling groundwater levels, and for this there is the support of World Bank also, central government also. It is a central sector scheme, no any kind of support from state is not provided. All the money, that is central assistance as well as World Bank loan, is provided in form of grants to the state. Now 7 states have been identified in the northern India as well as the central India. These states are water stressed states, right? And apart from it, what is happening is there are 5 indicators whether you are disseminating information or not, water security plans have been achieved or not, whether you have adopted them. So all these are indicators. On the basis of this, incentives will be provided to you. So there are 2 components of this scheme. First of all is capacity building, next one is incentive component, and with this the total scheme is complete. Now moving ahead to the National Mission for Clean Ganga. So NMCG, it is an important mission. This was having a time period till 2020, but then it got a lease of new life, and now it is applicable till the year 2026. Hence it is important for us to understand what we are going to try to do over here is we want to provide that there should be no pollution in the river Ganga. Ecology in the river Ganga should be thriving well, and for that all the steps that are needed to be taken, that will be taken under here. There is a National Ganga Council at the apex of it. That means obviously at every scheme you have got a national body, right, which is doing the program related things. So for this there is National Ganga Council, and then NMCG is a implementation arm of National Ganga Council. So this is the 2 differences between this. NGC, that is National Ganga Council, is the apex body, top body, and NMCG is a right hand of it. Right hand means implementation arm of National Ganga Council. So with this, let's start this particular scheme. It is an important scheme, remains in news for like sometimes for various reasons. So you have to understand this particular scheme. So National Mission for Clean Ganga, it was registered as a society on 12th August 2011 under Societies Registration Act. What are the aims of this particular mission is abatement of pollution and rejuvenation of river Ganga. So this is the aim, to maintain minimum ecological flows in the river Ganga with the aim of ensuring water quality and environmentally sustainable development. Now, what the vision of ours is, Aviral Dhara. Aviral Dhara means without any problem, ecology should be thriving. And next thing is Nirmal Dhara. Nirmal Dhara means there should be no pollution. Now, Act envisages 5-tier structure at the national, state and district level. So, first of all, you have got National Ganga Council. Please remember, the chairman of National Ganga Council is our Honorable Prime Minister. Many a times in the statement based question, it is being given that, okay, chairman of National Ganga Council is Minister of Environment. So, he is not. Chairman of National Ganga Council is Prime Minister of India, and please remember that such kind of questions have been asked and they can be asked. Next is Empower Task Force on River Ganga. Then you have National Mission for Clean Ganga. So please remember, National Mission for Clean Ganga is the implementation arm. This is responsible for implementing the scheme. Then you have State Ganga Committees and District Ganga Committees. Finally, talking about the NMCG. So in NMCG, you have got 2-tier management. First of all, there is a governing council, and then you are having a executive committee. Governing council focused on the regulation, executive committee focused on the implementation. So for both of them are headed by the Director General. The Director General of NMCG is an additional secretary in the Government of India. Executive Committee has been authorized to give approval for all the projects which are up to 1000 crores. So this is the maximum limit under which Executive Committee can give the dear PDF file. You will be getting this under the course. So all those students who are the members of the course, they will get the PDF file. It will be updated with the course. Next thing, see ground level. So what is happening at ground level is, the ground level physical implementation works are being performed by 2 new entities. What are these 2 new entities? State Ganga Committees as well as the District Ganga Committees. State Ganga Committees are headed by Chief Secretary of respective state that has representation of principal secretaries of relevant department of the state. Besides, 5 experts from the relevant fields nominated by the state governments. The District Ganga Committees is headed by the district magistrate. So you have to remember that who all are heading these particular organizations. NMCG is headed by Director General, right, who is the additional secretary in the Government of India. And then you have got your State Ganga Committee. State Ganga Committee is headed by Chief Secretary of every state. Next is District Ganga Committee, and Chief Secretary is most of the times senior most IAS or RAS or whatever your state level officers, administrative officers, they are appointed as the Chief Secretary for the states. And then you have got District Ganga Committee, district magistrates, they will be heading this particular committee. Now next thing what I wanted to tell you is that please remember the structures over here. And also remember that, okay, district magistrates as well as the chief secretaries are going to head this. And one more thing, in relation to state, what I wanted to tell you is that in the states, the 2 things that are used is, ministry word is not used, because ministry word is used for the central level offices that we have, okay, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment, like that. For state level, the word ministry is not used, and we use the word that is called as the departments, right? So therefore, they are telling you over here that besides the chief secretary, principal secretaries of the relevant departments will also be taken, correct? Now talking about Namami Gange program. What we want to do under this particular program, it is an important scheme. So cabinet approved the Namami Gange program on 13th May 2015 as an integrated river management approach, right? 20,000 crores outlay was provided over the next 5 years. This included the funds allocated to clean river Ganga and other new initiatives. Now the objectives we already know that we wanted to clean the Ganga. Now target beneficiaries are, who are the target beneficiaries? Millions of people that are residing in the Ganga basin area. Main pillars of this particular program is, so you have to see that what all we want to do over here. Sewage treatment plants, riverfront development, river surface cleaning, biodiversity, afforestation, public awareness, industrial effluent monitoring, as well as the Ganga Gram. So these particular schemes are relevant for all the examinations, right? So I have not filtered up these particular schemes with relation to any specific exam. These schemes are, we are reading all the schemes ministry wise, right? We are not focusing on what is the different exams. We have not classified schemes according to that. There are ministries and all the relevant schemes that are there under the particular ministry, that is we are going to study here. So hence please do not worry about it. What you have to see is the scheme in totality. Now talking about what the first phase of NMCG has ended in 2021. So February 2022, Namami Gange mission with a budgetary outlay of 22,500 crores has been extended till the year 2026, right? Now the key points, what are the key points over here? So here we are including Ganga as well as its tributaries. Next thing is Ganga River Basin Management Plan has been developed with the help of 7 IITs. Under the National Mission Namami Gange program, Central Pollution Control Board is carrying out the studies for water quality assessment of River Ganga at 97 locations. So this is called as monitoring. You are implementing the program, very good. But you also have to see that the whether water quality has been improved or not. Like there are particular stretches in Ganga where Ganga becomes very polluted. So in Uttarakhand, Ganga is very what you can say in a good state. When it enters from Uttarakhand to in UP, it becomes polluted because there are so many reasons over here. And plus there are tributaries of Ganga like Yamuna. They get very polluted in the city of Delhi, and hence when it comes into the Ganga, the water becomes more polluted. So Central Pollution Control Board, it is having water monitoring, water quality monitoring centers over 97 locations, and there they tell us on specific durations that okay, what is the presence of heavy metals, what is the presence of leading contaminants in the water, right? So the presence of heavy metals as well as some pollutants like your nitrates, etc. These are hazardous for human health, and it is very important for monitoring of those. Therefore, CPCB does this works for Namami Gange mission program. Integrated river basin management. So this approach is followed with multi-sectoral and multi-agency interventions. These are the components of it, and no longer required because you have already read it. So what are these? Nirmal Ganga. Nirmal Ganga means what we want actually. Pollution abatement, improving flow of Ganga, strengthening people-river connection, facilitating diversified research, and Earth Ganga program, that is boosting economy. So we have connected your Ganga as well as there are, we have got a national waterline pipe projects also, right? So we are constructing waterways over Ganga so that the commerce as well as economy must be growing on it, but at the same time we want the support of communities that are living at the banks of Ganga. There is the component of awareness also involved. Therefore there is a component that the water security plans and all of these should be prepared with the community participation. So what I want to tell you is no one scheme operates in silos. All these schemes are worked together, implemented together on the ground. So if you are educating the end user in one scheme, then obviously the end user is going to be educated for the next scheme as well, right? So the education is universal. Hence, the component that we have seen in AtalBhujal Yojana, that there is a component of water security plans. Once the education is granted on it, it is going to lead the benefit in other schemes as well. So this was your Namami Gange mission. Then we have got your Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Krishi Sinchai Yojana has got different components, and this particular scheme is more of a factual in nature, right? Let's see this scheme. Launched in 2015, motto is Har Khet Ko Pani. Now, what is the background of it? So earlier there were two major schemes for the irrigation, and these two schemes have been combined and they have been made under a umbrella scheme called as the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Please do not neglect the fact that the predecessor schemes, you have to remember the names of these schemes as well, that which of the schemes have been merged in order to bring this particular scheme on Krishi Sinchai Yojana. So number one scheme is Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program and the Har Khet Ko Pani. These were the two major components that have been came together. Now, Har Khet Ko Pani in turn, they consist of four subcomponents: command area development, surface minor irrigation, repair, renovation, restoration, as well as the groundwater development. Now, what is this command area development? So, command area development is basically, if I talk about conceptually, command area means it where the water irrigation or irrigation can be done with the flow of gravity. The ground or the ground is structured in such a way that once water flows, it is going to follow obviously the flow of gravity and the area will be irrigated by its own. And in technical terms, sometimes this is being used the areas which are near the dam, and when you want to irrigate them specifically by building of canals, etc., then also what you do irrigate them with the flow of gravity, right, with the slope that is already existing over there. Hence this is called as command area development. You've got surface minor irrigation like your drop irrigation, right, repairs, etc., as well as groundwater development is also a component under it. Watershed component being implemented by the Department of Land Resources. Now, what is the watershed? Watershed is the area from where you are getting the water for the irrigation purposes. If you will see in the many desert locations of Rajasthan, there is a component that you should be developing mini watersheds for your own in order to stop the rainwater from flowing further, and they make it like a mini dam, right, and that water is getting utilized later on. So this particular Krishi Sinchai Yojana is not only focused on the irrigation, but we are also focusing on how to develop the sources of irrigation. During the years 2015 to 2022, per drop more crop component was being implemented by Department of Agriculture, which has now been taken up under the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Vision is obviously improving the irrigation. Talk about objectives. So we want to achieve the convergence of investments in irrigation at the field level, enhance the physical access of the water on the farm and expand cultivable areas, integration of water sources, distribution and its efficient use, improve on on-farm water use efficiency to reduce wastage, right? Enhance the adoption of precision irrigation and other water saving technologies, enhance recharge of aquifers and introduce sustainable water conservation practices. So first of all, talking about these three, you must have seen the sprinkler irrigation system, right? There is sprinkler irrigation. There is also a component where water is directly provided to on the roots of the crops. So there are so many irrigation related technologies that have come upon. Now we no longer focus on the traditional way of irrigating through pipes, etc. We have got the technologies of the root irrigation. We have got the technologies on sprinkler irrigation, that is water is sprinkled over the area in a uniform way. So what it leads to, there is no runoff of the water. Water is getting percolated in the ground. No water is being wasted. So that is what we are telling over here, that obviously you want to make the water available to each farmer's land, but you also want to improve the water use efficiency. You do not water to let waste, right? Next is about the fund allocation. So outlay has been 93,000 crores. Duration is from 21 to 26. The CCEA has approved central support of the 37,000 crores to the state, right? And 20,000 crores of debt servicing for the loan availed by the government of India for irrigation development. So both of these fundings will be provided to the states. And that was for FYCCEA's Committee on Economic Affairs. Talking about the structures under your PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, so it has got two-tier structures. At the central level, there is a steering committee under the chairmanship of Honorable Prime Minister. Please remember the chairmans. That is very important for you to remember. Next is National Executive Committee under the chairmanship of Vice Chairman Niti Aayog. First of all, there is a difference. Steering committee, just like a steering wheel that you have in your cars, that means you are guiding the program. National Steering Committee will perform the work of guidance. And then you have got National Executive Committee. Executive, the word executive means on ground implementation. So whatever on ground implementation related thing is under the chairmanship of Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, right? Coordinating agencies, Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Regeneration, it is a coordinating ministry. State level, at the state level they have got three-tier structure. First of all, state level sanctioning committee under the chairmanship of Chief Secretary. Interdepartmental working group under the chairmanship of Agriculture Production Commissioner, and then you have got district level implementation committee. First of all, sanctioning committee means whatever the funding has been received from the center, you have to provide that funding to different projects that are being operated under your state. So for that we have got chairmanship of Chief Secretary. Who is the Chief Secretary? It is the senior most IAS or your state level administrative officer in the state, right? An interdepartmental working group under the chairmanship of Agriculture Production Commissioner. I have told you that if in a state the word ministry is not used, the department word is used. So in state you have got departments. Now we are talking about agriculture related component, but we should also be having support of your water department, right? Your land revenue, land related departments, as well as the rural development related departments. All these departments will be working together. So all those departments which are concerned with this particular scheme, they will be a interdepartmental committee and it will be headed by your Agriculture Production Commissioner. Moving ahead. What are the program components? So we have got accelerated irrigation benefit program, Har Khet Ko Pani, watershed development components. These have been approved. Please remember, whenever you are reading this particular scheme by yourself, remember there are two things. We are focusing on the irrigation, but at the same time we want to do watershed development. Watershed development means the source from where you are getting the water in first place. So without having the source, there will be no irrigation left to do. So both the things are here in the component, and that is why Department of Water Resources is a, what you can say, associated department under this. You are not going to operate alone. The matter is related to water, hence Department of Water has been also associated with it. Next is, first of all, reading about the components. Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program. Central government has launched this particular program in the year 96 and later we have combined it under the PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Aim is to provide central assistance to major irrigation projects in the country. So first see how the funding is being provided. 8 northeastern states as well as the UTs of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, 2 Himalayan states. The component is 90:10. Projects which are benefiting in special area other than general category states like command under drought prone area program, right? Desert Development Program, Tribal Area, Flood Prone Area, Vidarbha, Marathwada as well as in the Odisha. So other states 60-40 is the ratio. And in general category states which are benefiting other than the B above, the ratio is 25:75. So see, in other states we have got these particular areas which need more support, like your desert areas, tribal areas, right? All these areas they need more support, hence government is going to provide the 60% of the funds. But if you have got other areas in your state where such conditions are not persisting, then central government is going to restrict its funding till 25% only. The remaining 25%, 75% has to be brought by you. Example of it is, suppose we take the example of Rajasthan. We know that your West Rajasthan is obviously having the desert conditions. There is actual desert over here. So water scarcity is obviously more. So hence under desert area development program, this part of state is being covered under that, and government is going to provide the support of, central government is going to provide the support of 60%. But what about East Rajasthan? In East Rajasthan such conditions are not there. There are not desert like conditions. For all these areas which are not having such kind of peculiar conditions, central government has restricted its funding up to 25% only. State should be developing 75% or 75% on its own, because we know that agriculture is a state subject. Agriculture is a state subject. It is not the responsibility of central government to do the upliftment, but still central government is doing so. And if you're in the areas of your state where there are not such kind of peculiar problems, we are just going to provide the 25% of funding to you. Next is, what are the innovative measures and the modifications that have been done under this particular program, right? So inclusion of new major medium irrigation projects as well as funding of national projects. Financial progress requirement is dropped for inclusion of project under AIBP. Only physical progress needs to be considered. Advanced stage criteria is relaxed for the projects that are having command area of 50% or more in drought prone area, tribal area, desert program, flood prone, tribal area, flood prone area, or left wing extremism affected area. Project completion permitted with the physical progress of 90% or more, and online management information has been developed for the monitoring of these particular projects. So see over here, what we are talking about is, we are talking about the development, that how the funding needs to be provided over here. So in this particular point we are saying that if the progress has developed, physical progress is being developed, then we are going to give you a relaxation if you are belonging to drought area, tribal area, desert area or flood prone area. So 50% physical progress criteria will be relaxed for you in order to provide the funding. What is the funding criteria? If you have done till the 50% progress, then we are going to provide you the funding. So hence under this particular scheme of AIBP, Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, we are going to provide you the funding in this particular way, but the project completion had to be at least 50%. But this 50% criteria will also be waived off for all these areas. If you have completed the project till 90%, then project will be considered as completed, and whatever the funding that is remaining is, that will be disbursed. So these criteria that have been given over here is related to the funding. Next is a nodal officer for each of the 99 priority projects. They have been identified who will update on physical and the financial progress of the projects. GIS based applications will be developed and project components will be geo tagged. Remote sensing techniques have been used for digitization of the canal network of the projects. Remote sensing means from the satellites you get the idea that what is the progress that has going to be made, right? So this technologies will be used for it. The cropped area estimation in the command of 99 priority projects is being carried out annually through remote sensing. So remote sensing, by use of satellite, you are watching that the areas, the projects that have been funded by you under AIBP, whether they are improving or not. What is the area of irrigation? What is the cropped area? On what area the crops are being planted? All of this you are going to monitor through by use of the satellites. Next is to resolve the issue of land acquisition and increase water conveyance, use of underground pipeline that should be actively promoted, and new guidelines bringing out focus on participatory irrigation management, they have been brought out. Transfer of control and management to the Water Users Association has been made necessary for the acceptance of CAWM completion. So Water Users Association, that has to be made at the ground level, right? So this, what it does is it leads to participation of the community at the ground level. When there are monitoring agencies at the ground level in form of your water users association, then irrigation water will not be getting wasted. It will have a efficiency. The irrigation water will be applied to the crops, and if any problems will occur, then that will be tackled by your water users association, and hence formation of them is very important. Next is participatory irrigation management. So community owned watersheds as well as the, what you can say, inclusive irrigation, where you are not developing the irrigation projects just for any individual person, you are developing it for a community as a whole. So all of these concepts have been promoted under this particular scheme, followed up with your issue of land acquisition. See, what happens is whenever government wants to develop any particular infrastructure, for example, canal. Now, canal will not flow from air. It has to be on land somewhere. But nobody is ready to give up their land. So, in order to solve this problem, what government has said it, we will not operate on the surface. We will create underground water pipelines for the irrigation water distribution. So, that is the another new thing that has been brought up under this particular scheme. Now, keeping it up to this particular point only, yesterday we will complete this particular topic on this ministry, as well as one more scheme is left, and then we'll complete all the topics under this Ministry of Jal Shakti, right? So this is it for today. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have learned some concepts, and if you have got doubt in any particular thing, you can ask it by commenting below the video. Thank you so much.